I know it's hard that he's going to Adelaide, and my parents went through it as well, and it was, I remember we cried and my mum cried and so on, but the best thing I ever did was get away and go to Sydney, and I went Adelaide to Sydney, so it's hard right now, but it's really good for him.
I think it'll be good for him.
I mean, I've been there for 5 minutes, but I know the place pretty well. We've got a really good group, really good group.
I guess Fisher Mackesy at pick 6. Are you happy with him, and can you tell us a little bit about him as a player?
Absolutely, absolutely happy. We always knew he was probably going to be one of our players when we did the trade. So to get Fisher and a pick next year is a fantastic result. He's a player, you know, our record with picking talls and tall defenders particularly has been pretty good, not pumping our own tyres up, but it's been okay. So he's just so competitive in the air, and that's his core function in a team, is to either mark it forward or stop him from marking it back or take marks, and he stops the ball. In the Nationals, he took some fantastic marks protecting other defenders. He'll come off his man, and really pleasingly and somewhat rare for a tall player is that he sets up a lot of play with his kick from defence. He's a really good decision maker, so he's going to add a lot to us.
I heard he won the big Metro MVP over
he did.
number 1 and 2 picks.
He did. And he deserved it, so that's a really good feather in his cap. He's been with some good players, and he's the leader at school. At Caulfield Grammar, he's the captain. He's the bloke they kick the ball to. He goes in the midfield when they need him to. He goes in the ruck if they need him to. He goes behind the ball as a 7th. So he's really well rounded. He knows his game well. He's a highly intelligent young man with great character, so he'll help other players be better, and our talls at the club will help him be better, so it's good.
Is he projected to be a defender, forward, or too early to tell?
Well, I think the really good thing is he can play both, and because he's really smart, he'll be able to learn both ends of the ground. So I think he probably starts as a defender, but what a weapon to be able to go forward halfway through a game. So hopefully he gets a chance to do that as well.
And can you see him sort of pushing for that senior selection next year, ready to go? Or?
I think so. You don't ever want to put any limitations, and on a high achiever like Fish, you certainly don't want to do that. So it's hard for the young kids to play on the bigs, but he could probably play as a 3rd as well. So let's see how he goes. He's going to get bigger quick, but he's got a good frame already. He's not like a skinny 18-year-old, so he can develop pretty quickly, I reckon.
What's your overall thoughts on the first round of the draft as a whole? Surprises?
It was interesting. There was a lot of stuff that happened behind closed doors that people will never know about. There was some tries at some different things to go up and back, so we're open to it. We're in a really good position, holding 2 really good picks, and hopefully some other clubs might come for those, or we'll just take the 2 picks because there's some really good players still left.
It's late on a Wednesday night, but I believe the calls are coming through and the work's still going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, the boys are pretty much in the room straight after the draft working out the opportunities. We've had some phone calls with some clubs already, so it's going to be really interesting. Today was pretty straightforward. Tomorrow's going to be really helter-skelter, I reckon.
And how are you feeling about that hand at the moment? I think it's 24, 25, 39 and 46. Do you expect to take those picks or potentially split them out?
No, well, we're open to anything, and it is possible, but it's just really nice to hold 2 picks of sort of the first 4 or 5 possibly. So we've got a rough idea where we're going. Some players on the board that are left from tonight that we thought might have gone in the first round still there, so that's a really good sign, and then it gives us a chance now with a tall that can play forward and back to balance our draft off pretty well.
So does that mean we're sort of looking at targeting some midfielders tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we go the mids and some mid utilities, and we've probably still got room for another tall if there's one there we really like. So 2 talls and 3 sort of mid utilities was going to be a good balance, so that's a possibility.
It's a later start tomorrow at 7 p.m. What's the process tomorrow? I think early start and get straight into it?
Yeah, we'll have some meetings in the morning, and then we'll start talking to some clubs. So we can trade from 4 o'clock, but those deals won't come out until the actual event starts tomorrow night. So it could be a really busy day.
Any sort of insights into potential names that are in the mix and those sort of early picks, or is it there?
Well, it'll be the names that people are talking about. It's a bit like what I said about at pick 4 or 6. It's the same sort of names, so there's some pretty good players left on the board. I don't want to go into too many of who they are, but our supporters are pretty smart. They'll have worked out who's available, and a fair few of the good South Australians are still there, so we'll see how we go.
As we look to the Adelaide Crows, they're pick number 6. The pick is in.
Chelsea's a favourite in this office. We're in Melbourne and we're away from Adelaide, but she's just an absolute favourite for us. So we love the way she plays, and we sort of said to each other, if we could bring some players in with the qualities that Chelsea Randall's got, she's just got to be one of the all-time greats in AFLW, and her courage is fantastic. So that was just a little shout out to her. We're thinking of her.
Harry, tell us about, you would have been watching on TV, mate. Tell us about the moment and when it all happened.
Yeah, so I live with Will Gold, who's one of my close mates, and me and him had our families over and some close friends at our house in Torrensville. So we were watching together, and when my name was called, I was a bit speechless at first, and everyone was really excited, and I'm just really happy and excited to see what happens. So yeah.
And everyone would have been pumped for Gooey going to Sydney around the same
Yeah,
time.
definitely. So we're actually both really lucky. We both he went 2 picks after me, so all the excitement happened at once. So there was no waiting around. So we're both really good mates, and all our friends were happy for us. So
Hamish said that you're one of SA's best midfielders in the crop. You come in pretty confident in what you've been able to do recently?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've done a whole lot of hard work this year, and I've definitely improved my footy a whole lot this year. So I guess hard work, you get reward from it, and that's what I've done this year. So yeah.
It hasn't quite been a full easy road for you. You had some hardships and getting looked over for the under-18 squad. How did that light a fire in your belly to get to where you are now?
I get this question asked a lot, and I mainly say it's probably the best thing that's happened in my footy career. So I've made a whole lot of state things, going from under 12s, under 14s, under 16s. And I basically made that relying off my talent and not hard work. So not making the hub sort of made me realise I've got a bit of work to do and a bit of extra training. And so I went back and reassessed where I was at, and
Was there a moment last night when you got picked at 24 and the Crows had 25 that you and Gouldy thought you might end up together?
Yeah, there was a slight chance. So, like I said, I've been with Gouldy a fair bit actually. So, in year 11 at PAC, in year 12 at PAC, and now this year. So, I was sort of excited that we both could be at the Crows, but I was happy that he went to Sydney as well. So,
How did he feel at that point?
Yeah, he was the same. I think he was sort of thinking that he might have been going to the Crows, but he also knew that Sydney was pretty interested in him, and I guess that's how it planned out. So, yeah.
I saw you walk in with Hicks before. What was he have to say first time as an official Crows player?
Yeah, he's very welcoming. He made me feel very confident. So I was a bit nervous coming in today, but had a very good chat with him, and he's pretty keen to get me on board, and I'm keen to build a good relationship with him.
What are you looking forward to most now that you're a Crows player, and who are you looking forward to saddle up next to start Monday?
I guess I'm just looking forward to meet everyone. I think it's a great club. I've always followed it growing up. So being in South Australia, so just looking forward to meeting everyone and building good relationships with people and being myself. So yeah.
Have you had a minute for it to sink in, mate? When you pull the ball on, do you think, wow, this is not one that I'm getting from the the merchandise shop.
Yeah, I definitely always think about it, but it hasn't really sunk in yet. I've been pretty busy with phone calls and talking to people, so it hasn't really sunk in yet. But I get to go home tonight, back on the farm, and with my family, so I think it'll sink in back there at home.
How nice you picked up in Adelaide, so you can stay here. Is that the preference?
Yeah, I just definitely want to stay in Adelaide, I reckon. It's awesome staying in Adelaide. My mum and dad are both happy that I'm staying in Adelaide. They'll be able to come and watch my games and catch up with me when they can. So, real good to stay in Adelaide.
You're a Hawks supporter, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I am actually a Hawthorn supporter. So, my favourite player was Luke Hodge growing up. So that's why I sort of followed Hawthorn. So, just like the way he went about it, and yeah.
Who do you model your game on?
I don't really know, but I've heard comparisons to Jack Stevens. So from St Kilda, he's at Geelong now. So he's a stoppage player that can win clearances and burst out of packs using his speed and strength. So I guess I have a bit of similarity with him. So yeah.
Are you most looking forward to playing alongside in the midfield here?
I reckon Brad Crouch, pretty similar to him as well. I reckon so. Brad Crouch and Rory Sloan, both hard nuts. So I think playing with them would be awesome.
Do you think you'll be able to fit in if you do get the call up next year?
Yeah, definitely. I think Crows is very team related this year. So I think if I just do my hard work and become a good team player, I think I've definitely got every chance to play. So yeah.
Obviously, pretty strong body. He's won the MVP for South Australia this year. Would you be eyeing a round one debut? What's in the back of your mind?
Oh, definitely. I'd love to debut round one, but I guess I got to put in the hard work, and when I'm ready, I'm ready. And all I can do is just train really hard and get myself ready for round one. So yeah.
With pick 28, the Adelaide Crows have selected Joshua Warren.
Welcome to AFL.com.au. I am Riley Beveridge, and over the next few days we're going to be reviewing every club's 2019 NAB AFL draft. To do that, I'm joined by our draft expert Cal Toomey, and Cal, will start with the Crows. They got a really balanced mix throughout the national draft. Of course, they took key defender Fisher Mackesy with their first selection at pick 6, Harry Schoenberg, a local midfielder next, Josh Worrell, a key position player as well, and a few late flyers. And then they went with mature age players throughout the rookie draft. But we'll start with their first couple of selections because they bolstered their key position stocks with Mackesy and Worrell.
Yeah, and that was clearly a priority for them right at the top of the draft with Fisher Mackesy. They were weighing up Fisher Mackesy or Dylan Stephens. If Dylan Stephens got to the point of being able to be drafted by them, in the end he was not on the board by their pick 6, so they went with Fisher Mackesy, who's a key defender, an All-Australian player at under 18 level for Vic Metro. He won the Vic Metro MVP, so he can go back. He's the Jeremy McGovern of this year's draft with his intercept marking, contested marking, so that's his key trait. He's the long-term replacement for Daniel Talia. So I think that the Crows did really well there. It was a targeted role and a targeted position for them to really boost and bolster. So they did that. And then with their pick 28, we're able to get one of the other better key defenders off the pool, and he's Sandringham Dragons' teammate, Josh Worrell. So they're very different players as well. He's another intercept marker, but he's more of a third defender. 195 centimetres, uses the ball well on his left side, and can also play up the ground, on the wing, even in the forward line where he played for Vic Metro this year. So a couple of really important key position players to add to their stocks, and that was something that they clearly targeted through this draft period.
A couple of really interesting mature-aged rookies as well in Ben Keys and Ben Crocker. Of course, Keys coming from Brisbane, Crocker coming from Collingwood. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we hadn't heard them linked to the Crows throughout that last couple of weeks and since their delistings at their separate clubs. So Crocker will come in and be able to offer some pressure and attack up forward. And obviously Ben Keys is a ball-accumulating midfielder who had a stunning season really at NEAFL level and has continued to defy the odds at NEAFL level for the Brisbane Lions, but just been able to break into that senior side. So they come in. They did lose a bit of experience
they did
throughout the trade period and off-season, so they'll be able to come in and help bolster that midfield brigade. And also Harry Schoenberg that we mentioned earlier can do that because he's a local midfielder who can get his hands dirty and feed the ball out, so a clearance specialist, and they've really had a few different areas covered there, the Crows.
Thanks for your help today, Cal. Don't forget, we'll be reviewing every club's 2019 NAB AFL draft over the next few days, so keep clicking back to afl.com.au and the AFL Live official app.